How you all doing, guys? Welcome to Retro Dodo. Now, if you're a big fan of the Game Boy Color or have ordered the Analogue Pocket, then you might be on the market for some new Game Boy Color games. So I thought, why not put a list together of the top 10 best Game Boy Color games? Let's jump into it. Donkey Kong Country. If you're a Nintendo fan, then you're sure to have played Donkey Kong Country on the SNES. It was a classic side-scrolling platform game with some of the best gameplay ever. The Game Boy Color port of Donkey Kong Country stayed pretty true to the original game, with the addition of a new level called Necky Nutmare, as well as some other upgrades, hidden areas, and different gameplay modes. This game was praised for its vibrant graphics when it first came out, and the Game Boy Color certainly gives it a new lease of life. Donkey Kong Country sees Donkey and Diddy on a mission to retrieve Donkey Kong's banana hoard from King K. Rool, a badass croc with an odd face and a cape. As one half of the monkey duo, you have to make your way through a series of levels comprising of jungles, underwater realms, factories, mountains, caves, treetops, ruins, and mines. There are a number of mini-games to try your hand at as you progress, and finding the golden Kong letters on each level will leave you replaying stages again and again. 9. Tomb Raider: Curse of the Sword. Curse of the Sword is a side-scrolling slice of gaming brilliance with rich textured graphics that we would never have thought possible when we held the original Game Boy in our hands. This single-player action-adventure title follows the same theme and uses the same gaming engine as the first Game Boy Color Tomb Raider game, though this time there are more clever puzzles to solve, new challenges to overcome, and some pretty annoying bad guys that you'll enjoy defeating over and over again. It wouldn't be a Tomb Raider game without a crazy storyline, and Curse of the Sword doesn't disappoint. In this title, a crazed magician has been rising to power in the underworld scene in New Orleans. When she dies, one of her crackpot followers tries to bring her back to life, and after a bit of a mishap with a sacrificial sword and some of Laura's blood, Miss Tomb Raider herself becomes the perfect host for old Magic Bones to take hold of. Lara must find the weird cult, break the sword, and sort all of this out before heading home in time for tea at Croft Manor. It's a tough job, but someone has to do it. 8. Pokemon Pinball. How do you make a Pokemon title even better? What about making a pinball world where you fire Pokeballs around different courses, hitting different Pokemon and racking up high scores as you go? Yeah, that would probably do it. This thing should probably come with a warning or be reclassified as a Class C drug, because once you fire that first Pokeball, you'll find it incredibly hard to put down. Pinball responsibly, kids. From popping out of Bellsprout's mouth to hitting gold with legendary Pokemon such as the mighty Mewtwo, Pokemon Pinball was the ultimate arcade game for Pocket Monster fans everywhere. Players can choose to play on a red or blue table, sound familiar? And play to capture Pokemon or evolve Pokemon that have already been caught. It might not be as action-packed as the main game, but it's definitely one of the titles that you can go back to when you're stuck on other adventure games, or just want something that you don't need to think about much. 7. Dragon Warrior Monsters. The next title in our list of the best Game Boy Color games was released before the actual console itself, which is a little bit odd when you come to think about it. This title was the first Dragon Warrior Monsters title to be released in Europe, and follows the story of the series' key characters, Terry and Millie, when they are both children. The levels in this colourful RPG are kind of reminiscent of a Legend of Zelda title, and the gameplay has a lot of similarities to the Pokemon series in the form of in-game breeding of your Dragon Warrior monsters. Don't worry, you don't actually see any monsters getting down and dirty, it's a family game after all. The story revolves around Terry setting out on a quest to save his sister. Instead of fighting battles himself like in other Nintendo RPG titles such as Quest 64, Terry uses monsters that he befriends or coaxes into battle along the way to do his fighting for him. Smart move, kid. Along with Slip the Slime, Terry's first monster, you must defeat an evil monster and all of the challenges and dark dungeons that stand in your way if you are to save your sister and bring some peace to the world. Slib might not sound as cool as Pikachu, but you've got to start somewhere. 6. Pokemon Trading Card Game. I might have just lost all of you at point 6, but I'm sticking with it. Pokemon trading card game is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated and best Game Boy Color games ever made. To be able to harness the thrill of the card game and the collecting and battling that went with it into a video game just felt unreal, and battling other trainers felt just as exciting as it did in the mainstream series. It took a lot of cost out of having to buy all of the cards in real life, and you could still collect them all and carry them around with you in a tiny cartridge, rather than lugging around a carry case with more value than all of your mother's jewelry. I recently found out that the game was banned in Saudi Arabia because of its blatant links to Zionism. Any game that gets banned instantly becomes 10 times more popular on the badass-o-meter scale. Players must challenge 8 Club Masters and then 4 Grandmasters, just like in the main RPG Pokemon game, with the chance to collect cards that you couldn't actually buy from the shops in the real world. Honestly, I found this game super addictive and couldn't understand why none of my friends hadn't played it. For me, this title is a bit like Pokemon Snap. It's not as mainstream, but that doesn't stop it from being super hard to put down. 1.5 million Americans shared my opinion when the game was released. But the real question is, will you? 5. Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. This wouldn't be a collection of the greatest portable Nintendo games without a Mario title in it. At number 5 on our list of the best Game Boy Color games gives you 2 plumbers for the price of 1. Super Mario Bros. Deluxe kicked things up a notch with a simultaneous multiplayer mode, a new challenge mode, and lots of newly designed action-packed levels. It's not just a remake of the original Super Mario Bros. This game has lots of new and exciting features to warrant completing this story all over again, with fans looking out for new additions and worlds just like the nerds that watch the extended editions of Lord of the Rings with the booklet in their laps noting the deleted scenes. Yes, I'm definitely that nerd. The Mushroom Kingdom is an uproar after the Koopas have used their dark magic to turn its citizens into blocks, bricks, and mushrooms. The King of the Koopas has, you guessed it, stolen Princess Peach, and is up to Mario to sort things out. It's a storyline that's withstood the test of time, and the graphics and gameplay that bring it to life will make those afternoon hours fly by. With many of the glitches from the original game taken out, rich color schemes and new animated elements added, the option to play as Luigi and lots of other hidden surprises for gamers to try and spot. Mario Bros. Deluxe is one of those titles that will keep you coming back time and time again. 4. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening DX. Link's Awakening was originally released for the classic Game Boy and went down an absolute storm. As some of you may have read in our Link's Awakening review of the Nintendo Switch remake, this title was never supposed to be a Legend of Zelda game at all. Miyamoto saw the potential as the game was being made and decided to let it into the franchise, a fact that designer Koizumi must have been very happy about. Link's Awakening is one of the only Zelda titles not to feature the Triforce, Zelda, Gorons, Zoras, or any other creature or part of the Hyrule storyline. Instead, and partly due to the fact that this was almost not a Zelda game, we see other characters such as Goomba, Kirby, Wart, a couple of Chain Chomps, and many others making cameo appearances. Link must try to discover the secrets of Koholint Island and collect 8 magical instruments on his quest to wake the mysterious Windfish. There's also a secret color dungeon that you can find that gives you special powers, but I don't want to give too much away if you haven't played it yet. If you're looking for a handheld version of this game with the original top-down gameplay and graphics, then Link's Awakening DX should definitely be in your collection. 3. Kirby Tilt and Tumble. Not only is this game a puzzle-based title where Kirby has to tilt and tumble his way through different brain-tickling puzzles, but it's also the first handheld game to use a cartridge with a built-in accelerometer. Instead of players using the D-pad to move Kirby through challenges, they were able to move the Game Boy Color instead. This is the first example of a style of gameplay that would go on to make the Wii the most popular and best-selling console that Nintendo ever produced, as well as a key feature in the 3DS and Nintendo Switch Joy-Con designs. This game has a feel of Super Monkey Ball about it, or maybe it's the other way round, seeing as though Kirby's Tilt and Tumble came out first. Players must tilt and turn the console to guide Kirby to a goal at the end of the level. A countdown creates a sense of blinding terror as the numbers tick closer to 0. but the time that you have left to complete a level can be increased by rolling the pink pearl over clocks or by passing certain checkpoints. Collect all the stars and return Dreamland to a state of peaceful order and prosperity. If anyone can, Kirby can. 2. Pokemon Gold and Silver. It was always going to be impossible to separate these two titles, so the next entry on our best Game Boy Color list is a 2-for-1 special. I always thought it would be hard to beat Red and Blue, but it turned out that the addition of over 100 new Pokemon and a brand new region was all it took. These new stories took players around the Johto region on a quest to become the Pokemon Master. The same premise as all of the other Pokemon game applies, i.e. challenging gym leaders and filling up your Pokedex, but some of the new features and surprises that Game Freak installed in the games made 2001 me go crazy with excitement. So what made Gold and Silver stand out? The game includes a real-time internal clock and is also the first time that we see Pokemon being able to hold items such as berries. Legendary Pokemon roamed around waiting for you to catch them, even though they always fled, but their health didn't go back to normal between encounters, keeping you coming back for more. We saw new Pokemon, new Pokeballs, and new Pokegear. Basically, everything that would have made Red and Blue even better can be found in Gold and Silver. If you never had the chance to play these games, then I urge you to go back and give them a try. Number 1. Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Yep, I couldn't separate these two either. If you've read our articles before, then you won't be surprised that The Legend of Zelda has to be our number 1 game. And it's pretty fitting that after talking about Pokemon Red and Blue in the entry above, we now have an entirely different Red and Blue split adventure on our hands. Each game has significant differences, and only after completing them both does the player get a true picture of the storyline and the outcome of the adventure. Ages and Seasons sold just shy of 4 million units each. Not bad, eh? So how do these games differ? Well, Link gets transported by the Triforce to different areas in each game. There were supposed to be 3 games to go with 3 parts of Triforce, but Nintendo scrapped one because the intertwining storyline was starting to get a little bit complicated. Ages sees Nairu send Link to Labrina, and Seasons sees Din transport Link to Holodrum. The item and weapon collecting sequences that we know and love feature in both games, though different characters appear in each title. What's more, Seasons is more action-based, whereas Ages is a more puzzle-based game. Put them together and you've got one hell of a Zelda game. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more top 10 retro game lists, then please do subscribe as we have more coming up in the near future.